Warhammer fans, it's me, Pete, and I'm coming to you this week with, you guessed it, another deck review, and this week it's Garrek. I've not played Garrek in ages, so I figured I'd get him out, dust him down, and get him back on the board for some skulls and some blood. He does like his skulls and blood, so Garrek. And this one is for a best of 3. Now, all you YouTubers out there will see the first game as usual, but only our $5 and up Patreoners will get the other games. So if you are interested in seeing how the rest of them go, maybe it's worth having a check it out. I mean, there's a few other games in there, best of 3 in Patreon only. You know, you might enjoy it. Anyway, what are we playing this week? Well, we're doing our usual. We're applying our faction fraction limit, so we have 4 objectives and half of our power cards, and we also are applying the GW banned and restricted list as always. If you do spot anything where we're missing things or we have picked more cards than we should have done, then do shout it out. It will be a sore point of contention for both Robin and I if the other person wins and they've got far too many cards or a banned card in there. So let's crash on with what we've got. So I'm going to start with my objectives, and I'm going to start with my faction specific ones as always. The first one I've got is Blood for the Blood God. I score this immediately if 3 or more of my fighters make a charge action. Nice and easy, instant score, nice. I then got It Begins. I score in an end phase if at least one fighter from each warband is out of action. Now one of my guys is going to die at least unless I do something insanely good, and I'm hoping at least one of Robin's dies as well, so that's going to be nice and easy to score. I then got Corn Cares Not, scoring an end phase if 5 or more fighters are out of action. Well, there's 5 of my guys, so at the very worst and I get absolutely annihilated, I can get 2 for that. And then I get There Is Only Slaughter, scoring an end phase if there are no fighters holding objectives. I'm almost guaranteed to forget this and stand on an objective at some point like an idiot, but we'll see. Hopefully that comes out at the right point when nobody's after them, because I do have Supremacy in here. I then got Advancing Strike, one of the restricted cards I know. This one, nice and easy, get a glory if you kill somebody in their territory. Another instant score, mid-turn glory is always very juicy. I then got Chosen Champion. Sake is my go-to guy here, possibly Garrek depending on how they each do. 3 objectives on either of them or both of them is not going to be out of the ordinary, so I might as well score another glory for doing that. I then gone for Conquest, 3rd end phase, get all of my guys into Robin's half. He'll probably be coming after me, but I'm also coming after him. Worst case scenario, we both just run straight past each other and stand in the other person's end zone at the end. I then got Precise Use of Force. This is another one on the restricted list. I've gone for a lot of them in my glory deck because frankly, if you can't get the glory, you can't do anything else. So I've taken them all up front in my objectives. Get this one if you use the right amount of damage to kill them. I then gone for Superior Tactician, scoring the 3rd end phase if I scored at least 6 other objectives. Well, 3 of the ones I've got are instant score, and the others are, for the most part, pretty easy as well, so hopefully that should be quite easy to do, and that's 3 glory, which is always tasty. I've then gone for Supremacy, nice and easy, get 3 objectives. Hopefully that doesn't come out at the same time as There Is Only Slaughter, whereas nobody's standing on objectives, but frankly if I do I'm going to ignore that and go after Supremacy. I've then got Fired Up, get someone inspired. Should be pretty easy to achieve. Another one on the Universal Objectives restricted list. And Singled Out. Pretty much exactly the same as Chosen Champion. If I can get one, I might as well get the other, and then boom, 2 glory instead of 1. And then onto my Gambits. What am I going to use to score that glorious glory? Well, I have got a 24 card deck because I just couldn't decide which ones I wanted to take out. So there are 6 Gambits and 6 upgrades that are both warband specific. So let's start with the Gambits. I've got Blood Offering. Choose friendly fire, they suffer 1 damage and roll 2 extra attack dice in the next activation. Juicy. I've then gone for Boon of Corn. Play after a friendly fighter's attack action takes an enemy fighter out of action. Remove all wound tokens from one friendly fighter. So it doesn't have to be the one attacking, can be anyone. Hopefully I can send somebody in on a bit of a kamikaze run and then heal up Garrek or Sake if they're a bit wounded. I've then also got Final Blow, which is a reaction. Play after an enemy fighter's attack action takes an adjacent friendly fighter out of action. Their attacker suffers 1 damage. Always nice to do some damage in return if you get taken out. And I've also got Insensate. The first friendly fighter who suffers any amount of damage only takes 1. Nice little poke in the eye if somebody thinks they're going to take out one of your guys and suddenly they only do 1 damage. And then I've got Corn Calls. Roll 1 extra attack dice for my first attack in the next activation. That combined with Blood Offering could roll an extra 3 dice, which is pretty major. And then I've got Skulls for the Skull Throne, which is a reaction. Play after a friendly fighter takes an enemy fighter out, draw 2 power cards. I do like these cards, grab as many power cards as you can at once. You can get some really nasty combos out there. For my non-warband specific ones, I've got Jewel of Wits. I always take if I've got 12 or 11 cards for each, so this is definitely going to be in there in this case. Fueled by Fury, re-roll an attack dice for the first friendly fighter's attack in the next activation. Well, re-rolls are almost as good as extra dice, so I think I'd take that. I've then got Mighty Swing. I don't know who I'm coming up against. I don't know if Robin's going to take a lot of guys or a few guys. But if I've got Sayek and I can beef him up a little, Mighty Swing might help me hit 2 or possibly even 3 other people. That is definitely a card worth taking. And then got Spoils of Battle. Play an upgrade on somebody, even if I haven't got a glory point there. That will be very handy if I got some early upgrades in my hand and I want to play something on Sayek or Garrek before I charge him in. Then Twist the Knife. This is on the ban list and I have taken it because I do like it. I can just play this after I have a successful attack with range 1 and it'll do +1 damage. No drawbacks there at all. Definitely one for my hand. And then Quick Advance. Whilst my guys are fast, the ability to shove 2 of my guys 1 space each is nothing to be sniffed at, and it's a very handy card to take, especially with Supremacy in my hand. So those are my Gambits, which I'm going to use to score oodles of glorious glory. So those are my Gambits, which I'm going to use to score oodles of glorious glory. And what am I going to buy with all that once I've got it? Well, these are the upgrades that I am taking. I've got Berserk Charge, one for Sayek. Swords and Hammers are both successes when he makes a charge action. Nice. I've then got Blood Slick, +1 defense on Garrek. I only roll 1 dice, so they could use any help they can get. I've also got Frenzy, which is roll an attack dice when this fight makes a charge action. That can go on anybody. Could be very handy on Sayek when I've already got Berserk Charge on him. And Grizzly Trophy, another one for Garrek. When this fight takes an enemy out of action, gain an additional glory point. Well, if he's going to kill people, I might as well get 2 glory instead of 1. I've then gone for Whirlwind of Death, which is quite a handy one for casters, +1 damage to all of his range 1 and 2 attacks. That can make him quite nasty, and handy for taking out some people who are trying to keep behind the crowd, maybe protecting themselves. He might be very useful for picking people off. And then I'll be honest, the last card I took, I just couldn't decide which of the ones left was the least bad. So I took Wicked Blade, mostly because I just like saying Wicked Blade. And that one's for Arnulf. He rolls 3 swords and does 2 damage. And if you roll at least 1 crit, he has Cleave. But let's face it, if you've already rolled a crit, the Cleave's probably a bit, superfluous at that point. But anyway, I never know. You never know. Maybe Arnulf will impress me. Maybe he'll impress Khorne. Maybe he'll start reaping skulls all over the place. And of the rest of the cards I've got, I took Acrobatic, which is, in my case, as I have dodges, I roll an extra defense dice. Not shields, I roll an extra defense dice. I remember this, people. Then Concealed Weapon. If my attacker rolls a crit, then it does +2 damage. +2, that is juicy. Especially with some of the cards I've got adding extra dice to my attacks. That +2 damage could take out even Gerzag. I then got Deathly Fortitude. -2 move is a bit painful, but I do move pretty quick, and +2 wounds is going to be very handy, especially on Sayek or Garrek, who have got 3, so then, or Garrek has 4, and Sayek has 3, so this will help make them just a bit more survivable. I've then got Ethereal Shield, which changes their defense characteristic to shield. Now, I don't want to combine this with Acrobat because it's not going to help me, but having shields on somebody might make them just a little bit more survivable. I'd probably try and put this along with Blood Slick on Garrek to give him 2 shields, make him really survivable, and then maybe put Acrobatic on Sayek to give him 2 dodges, which still makes him pretty hard to kill. I've then got Great Strength, +1 damage, always handy. Could also be used in combination with Whirlwind of Death or Concealed Weapon to really start to boost the damage on some of my guys. And the last one is Light Armor. Rolls of crits on defense are no longer successes, but frankly, I'm not looking to defend a lot of attacks. I only roll 1 dodge in most cases, but it does give me an extra attack dice. Again, another attack dice could be handy with Blood Offering or Khorne Calls to get me those extra dice, and then maybe combine that with Concealed Weapon to get those crits off for those extra 2 damage. It could get very bloody, or it could be over very quickly. I don't have a lot of cards in here to help keep my guys alive, except for Acrobatic, Deathly Fortitude, maybe Ethereal Shield. So I've got a few in there actually, I've got a few. And I've also got Insensate as well, which helps reduce the damage, but I'm going for offense. I want to try and get my guys up the field, in people's faces as quickly as possible. Depending on what I roll, depending on what my cards come out like, I'm probably going to play with an offset board, just so I can limit how much my opponent can get to me. But it all depends on where we get there on the day and what I see Robin pull out of the case. So do let me know, with the restrictions we have in place, with the restricted ban list and with our faction fraction, are there other cards that you think would be better taken for Garrek and his Khorne boys? So anyway, I'm going to go start sharpening some axes and get ready for reaping in the Nightvault. I shall see you soon.